Guillaume of Poitou had seen much of the world, and none of it kindly. He was a merchant in wool, sometimes honest, sometimes not, and had lately survived a fever that nearly carried him off. When he recovered, he vowed to make a pilgrimage to the shrine of St. James, to straighten the accounts of my soul, as he put it. He set out in early spring. The sky was the soft gray of lamb's wool, and the fields newly green. For the first few days he met many fellow travelers, but halfway to the coast the road narrowed to a lonely path between heather and thorn. On the fourth morning, as he approached a ruined stone bridge, he saw a solitary figure waiting at the far end. The man was dressed as a pilgrim, but in clothing the color of midnight. Cloak, hood, belt, even the scallop shell pinned to his cap. His staff was of some black wood Guillaume could not name, carved with twisting shapes he didn't like to look at. "God keep you," the stranger said, pleasantly enough. "And you," Guillaume answered, though his voice wavered. They walked together for some time. The black pilgrim asked Guillaume where he was from, what his trade was, why he journeyed. His questions were courteous, and Guillaume, lonely for company, talked more freely than he meant to. But as the hours passed, a faint unease crept in. The black pilgrim never seemed winded. He never stumbled. His shadow, when the clouds parted, was oddly long for a man of his height. Near noon, they stopped beside a wayside shrine. Guillaume knelt before the cross. When he rose again, he was startled to find the black pilgrim watching him with a strangely intent expression. "You pray often?" the stranger asked softly. "As often as any man," Guillaume replied. "No, more than some," the pilgrim murmured. "Less than others." They resumed their journey, and as the miles slipped by, the stranger began to speak of things Guillaume had never told him. The disputes he'd had with neighbors, the dishonest weights he had used in his youth, words spoken to his wife in anger. Even things he had confessed in secret were laid out plainly, as if the stranger had read them from a ledger. Guillaume stopped dead in the road. "Who told you these things?" "No one told me," the pilgrim said. Guillaume's mouth went dry. His hand trembled as he made the sign of the cross, not fully, but a small, half-formed gesture, barely a line. The stranger recoiled as if struck. His face tightened, the skin pulling taut like hide shrinking in fire. His smile became wide and sharp, too wide for a human jaw. "You shouldn't have done that," he hissed. A storm seemed to rise from nowhere. The heather whipped in the wind. The pilgrim's cloak billowed and burst apart like black ash. Beneath it was not a man at all, but a shape of darkness, ringed with wings like torn parchment, its eyes burning like coals under snow. Guillaume fell to his knees and completed the sign he had begun. "St. James, defend me!" At that cry, the demon shrieked, a sound like iron tearing. It rose into the whirlwind and vanished upwards, leaving behind only the smell of scorched wool and wet stone. For a long time, Guillaume knelt in the road, trembling. At last he rose, made the sign of the cross, properly this time, and continued on alone. He reached the shrine months later, having spoken with countless pilgrims, but whenever he passed a crossroads at dusk, he prayed aloud, and never again kept company with a man who cast the wrong kind of shadow.